The sun was setting behind the towering skyscrapers of Aeloria 5, the jewel of the Andromeda cluster. Elian Miles, a down-on-his-luck cargo hauler, had just dropped off another batch of supplies at the bustling port. Life on the edge of the galaxy had never been kind to him. He had left Earth years ago, tired of the stifling routine, only to find himself on the wrong side of the galaxy, paying for his past mistakes and barely scraping by. As he moved through the crowded streets of the trade district, his eyes caught a glimpse of something unusual. A large crowd had gathered around a sleek, silver vehicle, its windows tinted, its design clearly one of high status. As Elian passed by, he overheard snippets of conversation. They were talking about the heiress to the Eryxian fortune, a woman said to possess unimaginable wealth, the likes of which made entire planets tremble. Her name was Princess Heiress, the last living member of the Eryxian royal family. Her lineage was said to go back thousands of years, and her family's wealth was the stuff of legend. But she wasn't just known for her fortune. She was infamous for her arrogance, her disdain for anyone she deemed beneath her. It was said that she treated even the most powerful beings in the galaxy like mere ants beneath her feet. And today, Elian found himself about to encounter her in the most unlikely way. Aeloria stepped out of the vehicle, her body draped in an elegant gown of shimmering blue fabric, her golden jewelry glinting in the fading sunlight. Her icy, violet eyes scanned the crowd, dismissing everyone with a single glance. Elian, just trying to make his way through the throngs of people, accidentally bumped into her, causing her to stumble slightly. She whipped around, her eyes narrowing in immediate disdain. "Watch where you're going, peasant," she spat, her voice sharp and cutting. "I am sorry," Elian stammered, taken aback by her sudden outburst. "I didn't mean to." "Of course you didn't," she interrupted. "But no one cares about your excuses. I have places to be. This bag," she added, holding up a designer purse that seemed to shimmer with a strange, almost otherworldly glow, "is worth more than you can ever dream of in your entire life." Elian's heart sank. He had seen people like her before, rich and entitled, too absorbed in their own world to notice the people around them. He was about to apologize again when suddenly, without warning, an explosion erupted nearby, sending debris flying in every direction. A hidden terrorist group, part of the rebel movement on Aeloria 5, had planted bombs in the area. The blast sent the crowd into a frenzy, everyone running for cover. But Aeloria, in all her arrogance, had stood frozen, stunned by the chaos around her. She was too overwhelmed by the attack to react in time, and before Elian could make sense of the situation, a second explosion ripped through the air, sending her crashing to the ground. Without thinking, Elian lunged forward, diving toward the fallen princess and shielding her with his body. The world seemed to slow as he heard the ringing in his ears and felt the intense heat of the blast passing over them. He had no idea how he had made it out unscathed, but he knew one thing. Aeloria was in danger, and he had to get her out of there. "Come on, we need to move," Elian shouted, grabbing her by the arm and hoisting her up. Despite her usual arrogance, she was trembling in fear, her normally impervious demeanor shattered by the terrifying explosion. Who are you?" Aeloria gasped, her voice shaking for the first time. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, there was no judgment in them, just raw, unfiltered fear. "I'm no one," Elian said, pulling her along, "but right now, we need to get somewhere safe." He led her through the burning wreckage, pushing his way through the scattered debris, his heart pounding in his chest. They finally found an abandoned alley where he managed to hide them both, ducking into the shadows as a group of heavily armed rebels marched past. Aeloria's breath came in ragged gasps as she looked up at him. "Why did you save me?" she asked, her voice filled with a mix of confusion and gratitude. "I treated you like dirt. I called you a peasant." Elian shrugged, glancing at her. "I don't care about that. People are just people. We all have our roles to play. And right now, mine is keeping you alive." Aeloria blinked at him, her usual aloofness replaced with a quiet vulnerability. "But why? You don't know anything about me." He glanced down at the bag that had caused their confrontation earlier, now lying abandoned on the ground. "It doesn't matter. What matters is you're alive. We don't need to pretend we understand each other right now. Just focus on getting to safety." As the chaos of the bombing continued to unfold around them, Elian and Aeloria made their way to a hidden underground safe house. There, they encountered a group of resistance fighters who helped them evade the rebel forces searching the city. As the night wore on, the tension between them began to shift. What started as mutual distrust began to evolve into something more, a strange camaraderie, a bond forged by their shared experience. Over the following days, as they both recuperated from the trauma of the attack, Aeloria began to see Elian in a new light. His quiet strength, his ability to remain calm under pressure, had left an indelible impression on her. She had spent so many years surrounded by sycophants and yes-men who only wanted to be in her good graces. But Elian didn't care about her title. He didn't care about the fortune she controlled or the power she held. He saw her as a person, as someone who needed help. "You didn't have to risk your life for me," Aeloria said one evening as they sat in a quiet corner of the safe house. "I was just a spoiled heiress. A nobody." Elian shook his head. "Everyone's worth saving, no matter who they are." For the first time, Aeloria felt the weight of her privileges. She had been given so much in life: power, wealth, admiration. But none of it had ever truly made her feel alive. It was in this moment, with the man who had saved her life, that she realized the true meaning of worth and sacrifice. And, in a strange twist of fate, she felt something stir in her heart, something she hadn't felt in years. She felt gratitude. "I owe you everything," she said softly. "Not just my life. I owe you my heart." Elian didn't know what to say, but he smiled. "I'm not asking for anything. Just don't forget that everyone has value, even if you don't see it at first." Days passed, and eventually the threat of the rebels diminished. The royal family, hearing of Aeloria's survival, sent reinforcements to restore order to the planet. But Aeloria was different now, changed by her near-death experience and the selflessness of the man who had saved her. Before she left, she turned to Elian. "I want you to come with me. You've earned more than my respect. You deserve something better than what this place has to offer." Elian hesitated, but he saw something in her eyes, something real, something honest. It wasn't about wealth or status anymore. She had realized, just like he had, that sometimes the most valuable thing in life wasn't the money you carried, but the heart you shared. And so, they left Aeloria 5 together. A princess, once blinded by her privilege, and a man who had nothing but his courage to give. In each other, they found a connection stronger than any wealth or power. And in that bond, they discovered that true richness lies in the value of human life, not in the things you own.